What's going on, y'all? So I came across an article this morning or this afternoon, rather, one of those that was talking about drinking water. And the title of the article was, and I'll make sure I put a link in the description. It said, "Drinking 8 glasses of water every day is a scam. Here's how much experts say you actually need." So I'm glad I came across this article because this is something that has been that people have given a very, very significant recommendation on 8 to 10 8 ounce glasses of water every day, which is 64 to 80 ounces of water. Now, is it a scam or is it legit? Is it a good recommendation? Let me point out some of the things that they said in this article that were notable to me, and then I'm going to provide my thoughts. So they said the ACSM, which is the American College of Sports Medicine, suggests a minimum of about 60 ounces daily. Okay, so that's getting close to that 8 cups of water a day. Dr. Axe, somebody I actually follow somewhat, he recommends that we shoot for between 75 to 50% of our body weight in ounces of water every day. So that means if you're 150 pounds, 50% of 150 is 75. And so then a fourth would be more so like 37.5 ounces of water. So 37.5, is that correct? Yes. 37.5. Let me get my math right. Yeah. So it's 37.5 to 75 ounces of water a day is what he recommended, what he would recommend for a 150-pound person. Um, and he said also that assumes that you're eating also a good amount of hydrating produce items, vegetables and fruits that have a significant amount of water in them. You know, celery, pineapple, apples, fruit in general, even lettuce, um, tomatoes, stuff like that has a lot of hydration, if you will, in it. He also, not he, but the ACSM also recommends that you drink about 500 milliliters of fluid, um, which is about 17 ounces of liquid, 2 hours before exercise. And I believe that recommendation was so that the water can actually, the liquid can get processed and you don't have to go to the bathroom. You have time to go to the bathroom before any sort of exercise activity. Another recommendation I thought was interesting was that you weigh yourself before and after exercise to determine how much water weight that you shed during exercise to determine how much you need to replenish. Definitely more on that later. The discussion came up about sports drinks. And so they said, powders, sports drinks, and electrolyte infused water can help to facilitate proper muscle function, blood pressure, and cell structure integrity. Basically those kind of drinks that have electrolytes, those various minerals in them will kind of help to support your body health, performance, and function in a variety of different ways, perhaps even more than just straight water. So let me stop there. Now, here are my thoughts on those things. Now, as far as 8 to 10 8 ounce glasses of water a day, I also do think that's a bit overkill. Now, I think the recommendation is a standard. I think standards are good because they cause you to pay attention to things that are important, like hydration, because most of us do walk around dehydrated, which can be problematic, not just the feeling of thirst, but also just like your bodily function, because we're made up of mostly water anyway. And most of the liquids that most people drink are not straight water, or they might even have water, but it may be dehydrating liquids, diuretics, in other words. But that said, I think 8 to 10 cups of water a day is probably overkill. It's probably too much for most people. I think that based on personal experience and just even kind of considering, like just how standardization can sometimes kind of be too much of a just like a blanket kind of recommendation. Most people probably do need more like half of that. If you're doing half of that, that's probably like plenty for most people, or it's way more than most people need. Like me, I know that if I'm doing 64 to 80 ounces of water every single day, then that's a lot. It's basically, I put it this way. Because even though I've learned all these things and I give different recommendations based on my personal training, education, and whatnot, what I always consider is how natural is this, and is this something that, I don't know, 1,000 years ago people would have done. And I'm not saying that we haven't learned different ways to take care of our bodies better, but at the same time, though, people knew about hydration and whatnot, many years ago. And I just don't believe that folks would necessarily be carrying water bottles around and getting that much water in. I believe that we should kind of try to find a balance between standards that people give us as well as like actually learning to listen to our bodies. So I think more important than anything is listen to your body, drink when you're thirsty. Carry a bottle around. I do sometimes, but like learn to understand when you actually are thirsty and drink. Because I think the issue really more so is, and I think it's the issue that people are trying to resolve, like to keep people from getting dehydrated. I think that issue is that most of us don't know how to listen to our bodies anymore. And so we walk around thirsty. We never drink a drop of water. Sometimes we may not drink anything all day unless it's like Coke or coffee or something like that, which don't really qualify. So carry a bottle around. That's a good recommendation. I don't think if you do it, it's all good. Just make sure you don't overhydrate. If you carry around a big old gallon jug or one of those kind of things, sure. But just make sure that you don't let yourself get thirsty. When you get thirsty, when you like, even now, I'm gonna have to get something to drink after I get off of this. Drink when you're thirsty, and if you do that, then you're doing great. And if you want a standard, then I always recommend that you get at least 40 ounces in, and so you can get used to how that feels. Because when you start getting higher than that, and you're using the bathroom all the time, that's kind of inconvenient. It can get to the point where you're always having to go to the bathroom, which your body will kind of get used to that. But I'm just saying, if you're doing about 40 ounces, in my opinion, and not being clear, it's my opinion, then I think you're fine. Fruits and vegetables for sure. That's something that actually is for sure underrated as far as like hydration is concerned. Probably our I can't say main source, but it's a lot of hydration when you eat fruits and vegetables. But the thing is, most people are not eating nearly enough fruits and vegetables. I did a podcast some time ago talking about eating, was it 9 cups of vegetables a day? And I was referring to Dr. Terry Walls, a lady who had MS, experienced essentially reversal of her symptoms and condition. And part of the things she was doing was eating at least 9 cups of vegetables a day or something like that. And that's a lot. But what I'm saying is, we need to eat more plant foods for sure, for absolute certain. We need to eat more plant foods, and that is an added benefit, which is hydration. Now, the recommendation that the person gave about weighing yourself after exercise to kind of see how much water weight you've lost kind of seems like overkill to me. If you're the type of person who likes to be really technical about those type of things, you might like that. For the average person, again, carry your water bottle around. If you are active, you want to make sure you drink, especially after you have exercised. But kind of listen to your body on that one. It's kind of my opinion, because you're going to be thirsty anyway. But like to replenish water weight, to me, that might put a little bit more pressure on one than they need. Don't underestimate the power of you listen to your own body. That said, if you still the type of person who's real technical about it all, you might want to go and weigh yourself before exercise, weigh yourself after exercise, and then get that poundage of water in. It just kind of seems a little much to me. One thing I may do is experiment with, and I've thought about like minerals, electrolyte minerals, natural kind of powders and things to add to my water, because if you think about it, people didn't drink water the way we drink water. Our water goes through treatment facilities and whatnot. And a lot of the way people drank water before was like, in streams and ponds and stuff, and where there's going to be like more natural minerals from the ground and whatnot in there. But our water is not the same. So that's something that I've thought about experimenting with. And whenever I do that, I'll just be sure to let you guys know in a follow-up video. I may look at something like that today because it's been on my mind for a year or two now and I haven't acted on it. That said, hydration is not being hydrated is not an excuse to drink sugary sports drinks, Gatorade, Powerade, and I'm talking about artificially sweetened as well. Because a lot of times, like, hey, you got to get that Gatorade in, but that stuff is very sugary and it has negative um, effects as well. All that sugar is not good for you. It's just not. It's not. It's like you may have some capacity for sugar whenever you have finished activity, but you get that big old tank of sports drink. Nah, man, nah. You just better off drinking water, in my opinion. But you might want to experiment with something with some natural minerals that doesn't have sugar or even artificial sweetener in it. I just say stick with water. Um, and it's last thing I want to say on here is it's kind of funny. Somebody was saying they said in the article, it said, does this sound hard? And their recommendation was that if it sounds hard to get your hydration in, they said the first thing is you need to grow up. And you do. A lot of times we like to complain, oh, I don't like water. It's too much. But y'all, we really do need to grow up, man. Because like you gotta understand, like if you say you really want something and this is what it takes, just do it. Just do it. And you feeling uncomfortable, it's gonna be okay. You just have to get what else is there left? Because a lot of times what happens is we want something, but we don't want to do what it takes to get that thing. And so we kind of start making excuses and then we kind of like will ourselves out. Or we try to find a shortcut, a hack or something like that. It is what it is. If you want to take care of your body, there are various things you need to do. Staying well hydrated is one of them. I'm about to get some water now. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, we do need to grow up. We need to grow up, y'all. So anyway, I'm gonna let that be it. This is a short video I have here. Hopefully, this is helpful, in some sort of way.